My squad, my viewers, my subscribers, my elites, it's me, Captain Riser. It's We Live Action. You already know what it is. Here to bring you yet another Bleach chapter review. Now this is Bleach chapter 574 titled Death in Vision. Now, we see this chapter, it starts out, we see members of Squad 11, they're happy, they're cheering because they can see and sense Kenpachi, now that he's back into the mix. And the thing is, it cuts to Kenpachi, I believe his name Grimmy. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, hell, let me know, I just keep on calling him Star Knight V. But anyway, Grimmy and Kenpachi are talking about how they're loud and everything, but Grimmy, he goes on to say, hey, they really think you can win just because you're here. I guess that's the power of imagination. They're free to imagine it all. Then Kenpachi questions if he can heal himself, and he goes on to let him know, yeah, I actually just imagined that my wounds are healed, and bam, they're healed. So it cuts back to these other members, and they notice that the structure Kenpachi is on, it's the same structure when it was on the ground, but they noticed when he was on the ground, they couldn't sense his reality. Then when it lifted up in the sky, automatically they can just sense it. Anyway, it cuts back to Grimmy and Kenpachi, and Grimmy, he goes on to, taunts him slightly, but he lets him know that he's not going to say the typical lines like, I'm going to defeat you with one finger. He's like, hell, I'm not even going to lift a finger to kill you. I'm just going to use my mind. And then he thinks of lava, then he shoots it at Kenpachi. Kenpachi, he swipes it away with his Zanpakuto, and behind him is Ichiru. He's telling Ichiru, get out the way. And that's when Grimmy said, basically like, hey, don't be so hard on her. She can't move, Her bones, I imagine her bones to be nothing but cookies. If she was to move too hard, then bam, she would die. And Kenpachi says, like, cookie, like, what the hell is a cookie? And then they go on to say, basically, Kenpachi's like, look, maybe you should have made it a tea cake or hard candy, depending on which translation you read. It's rather say tea cake or hard candy. Anyway, Kenpachi goes on to strike Grimmy, and when he does that, bam, Kenpachi's like, he's just enveloped in this cube shape of water. And then at that point, he goes on to drop Kenpachi in that deep canyon crevice, right on top of that structure. He drops him in there, and it looks like he closes it. And at that point, he tells Kenpachi, you're strong and whatnot, but even you can't survive this. I'll give you a 1 hour tops, not even if that. And he goes on to say, you're being crushed while being engulfed in water. There's no way you can survive. And out of nowhere, you see Kenpachi, he busts out, and you see this big chunk, just this big chunk flying right at Grimmy, and it looks like he imagined it to disappear. It just disappears, and we see Kenpachi. Nice, I like this panel right here. When he's coming up, get ready to slash Grimmy, he's holding Ichiru. You can see the big dramatic size difference between the two. And when he goes on to slash him, it looks like he thinks up a piece of wood or a pillar to block the slash. And right there, Kenpachi noticed like, oh, if I was there to pick up Ichiru, grab her and move her out the way like this, and she's still alive, then that means you're not even focused on her. You're focused on me. And at that point, it just says to be continued. Now, on to my thoughts with this chapter. Again, I thought this was an okay chapter. Now, hear me out. Now, some of you, of course, everyone has different opinions and thoughts. Some have similar, some agree, some disagree. But some of you may really like this chapter. The reason why I felt this chapter was okay is because this is the thing. Kenpachi Zaraki. We know what he's about. We know how powerful he is. Yes, we get it. The main thing that this chapter offered to me was we got to see a weakness of Grimmy's ability. He can't focus on just one thing at a time. But that makes me wonder, if he's fighting multiple opponents and they all jump him at the same time, can he just focus on all of them, or he has to focus on this one but he can't focus on this because he's focused on that? We know just how I showed in this chapter. So Ichiru, she's all healed now. Well, I wouldn't even say healed. Her bones are back to normal because he's focused on Kenpachi. But the messed up thing is, now that his focus is on Kenpachi, his possibilities are not limitless because he's not gonna have to worry about Ichiru. I'm sorry. He just you see he broke her wrist, already. That was before he even made her bones into cookies. So if he focused on Kenpachi even harder, when I say harder, just think of something way more lethal. I mean, yeah, he put him in the water, he put him in the cane, he made it close and whatnot. He tried to crush him. Kenpachi bust out of there. He tried to hit him with lava. He's hitting him with some critical things, but at the same time, he has to really think of, if it was me, like I said, I would make Kenpachi's bones into tea cakes or hard candy or cookies, or I'll make his Zanpakuto just melt. Things of that nature, make him have no arms, no legs, have Kenpachi just crippled, something like that. That's what I think of. But another thing, this chapter, I think it just was it was just to show how much more powerful Kenpachi has become after his battle with Unohana. But at the same time, was this really, for all you Kenpachi fans, was this really impressive? Like, what he did in this chapter, to me, it seemed like this was something he could have, that he would have or could have done prior to the training he had. I mean, he slashed away the lava. Because the reason why I say this, in this chapter, the things he was surviving, I wasn't shocked like, oh man, he survived that, or oh man, that was impressive, or okay, I see Kenpachi really has gotten stronger, because him getting put in the water and getting thrown down and crushed and him breaking out of that, I would have expected that from Kenpachi, even pre-time skip. So I wasn't really shocked about that, especially with him, slashing away the lava. That's just me. And another thing, oh man, this whole thing, I read a comment about how Kenpachi, this may be a hint that he's a transcendent being, how they said how those two grunts, well, that one grunt said it, how him and the other members were not able to sense Kenpachi's Shiatsu when he was on the ground, like when the structure was lowered. Then when it rose up to the sky, they were able to sense it. My thing is, for any of you who are watching this who think that, no, Kenpachi is not a transcendent being. Now true enough, that statement was a foreshadowing to something. Maybe it's something going on with what Grimmy is doing, or maybe it is foreshadowing something for future events as far as another revelation regarding Kenpachi. But my thing is, I do not think Kenpachi is a transcendent being, because yes, the shackles are broken off Kenpachi. Yes, he knows the name of his Zanpakuto. Alright. Yes, he's stronger now. Yes, he is holding the title of the real Kenpachi Jiraiya. This is the thing. At the end of the day, he is still nothing but a Soul Reaper. That's it. He is nothing but a Shinigami, a Soul Reaper, a god of death. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And to be a transcendent being, you cannot be a Soul Reaper, just a plain Soul Reaper, and reach levels of that magnitude. You just cannot. So Kenpachi is not a transcendent being. I'm saying that right now. Now, if somehow he ends up being one, I'm gonna need a hell of an explanation from Kubo. I really am. But yeah, this chapter felt short. That's another thing. It felt really short. It really did. But like I said, I just felt this chapter, it was okay. Not that much else to talk about. This Grimmy character, man. Oh man, this is just the thing about having a character that can, think of anything and it can happen. I mean, this can be bad for a battle in your story or story writing or whatever, because when you have a character like that, you're going to have readers like me say, okay, he can think anything regarding his opponent.
My apologies, sir, for trying to...
Why did that just amped up like that? I don't know. But hey, all in all, at least, that's my thoughts about the whole chapter. This Grimmy guy, he should think of something way more lethal to kill Kenpachi. But we know he's not going to kill Kenpachi. We know Kenpachi's going to win this battle. But who knows what Grimmy is going to do in this final Holy Form. But other than that, give me your thoughts, comments, and concerns. This is me, Captain Vaz. Thanks for watching. Signing out.